relationships.
Poor Pepe.
Try telling him. 2 fingers, circular motion. Gets it going all the time, man.
Rob, can you give us a kind of an account of tonight's event?
Sorry, did you ask me? What?
I don't know if she was like, were you there?
No,
You
I
said you
was
were
there.
there earlier.
I don't know. I said I was there for like moments, and then I overheard Pepe be like, "Having charisma is a red flag," and then I left soon after. Yeah.
Checking in and out the whole time.
Yeah.
When are we gonna meet that purpose?
Wait, Wallace, were you there?
Which ones?
Wait, so why is having charisma a red flag? That's what I want to know.
Dr. Jordan was there. Dr. Jordan was a big speaker. There was a debate. Dr. Jordan, can you retell kind of what the debate was about tonight?
Oh, yeah, so I kind of got into it with Edward because I just heard Edward C. and Cool C. and Chris, I guess, talking about like giving Bima advice on relationships. And it's not so much what they said, but how they said it. And it's like there's so much nuance to relationships. Like just because someone's been married 30 years doesn't speak, and Edward kind of had been talking about his own experience. I mean, all kinds of things happen to people and out of their control or in their control. And so I kind of got a little triggered by the way he was talking about it. That's how I recall the conversation going. And, I mean, I also don't think that just because people are married means that that's a successful relationship either necessarily. They could be there for all the wrong reasons, or they could be in a position where they're terrified to leave. I mean, it was the way it was talked about that kind of caught my attention.
I think when you talk about relationship, you should leave the significant partner or somebody alone. Like you should just knock that shit off. But I digress. People get mad at me for flipping out on certain people. But you know what? For 4 years, anybody mentions my Elizabeth, I'll go full tilt. I'll burn the world down for her. So you don't always take that as some stop on somebody else's partner, but you don't know the dynamics that's going on. And you should probably chill out on really trying to push a narrative onto somebody else with regards to their partner.
Well, Rabboni Shalom, the Pepe Show is part of the Circus Sideshow Freaks, and I was doing all kinds of stuff, listening and recording from a distance, but everybody has their journey, and talk therapy here on Clown House is cheap. Imagine just sitting down with Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung and Pepe talking about all his relationships and his career and monologue on Clown House. And so what I'm trying to say is, in relationships, if we look at the word relation and ships, it's really about contrast, or the relationships, your relations. And Clown House is all just people. The app conference call is technically barely a thing. Every person here is a node. You are a network. And some people here only have Clubhouse. You got no other platforms. You got no other networks. You got no distribution of communication. And so if you want real relationships, you got to be actually open. You have to be transparent. You have to actually use these platforms with your real identity and say what you feel and feel what you say, and move across the face of the earth, in truth. And that is actually high morals and ethics, when you're willing to literally bear all. So you know, ethics and morals and mysticism and clown house and politics and the future of America and Donald Trump's legacy, Rabono Shalom. Let's talk about clubhouse relationships. Not everybody here is going to be here in 3 years or 2 years or 1 year. And Clubhouse could shut down at any moment. And, just you'll get a message saying the app has shut down and Reid Hoffman has had a massive aneurysm from his 4th booster shot. Let's talk about relationships. Every hour that you listen to Pepe monologue is an hour lost that you could have been doing something else with your focused concentration. Hello?
You and Pepe sound so much alike at times.
I actually liked what Pepe had to say tonight.
You hate Pepe, John?
No, I do. I actually like Pepe a lot.
No, I was telling Kitover he hates Pepe.
Pepe and I, it's funny because when I first met Pepe, I thought, wow, far different from me. Pepe and I are a lot more alike than most people on here. And I'd actually argue that we each get triggered in similar ways.
I don't hate Pepe. I just don't want to listen to Pepe or record Pepe. If I could mute him and censor him, I would gladly not listen to Pepe.
Himself, if Clubhouse shut down. Out of everybody you've met on Clubhouse, which guy would you say, yeah, that guy's going to probably off himself if Clubhouse ever shut down?
Me. Pick me.
Not you. It would be Kitover.
See, that's just ad hominem projection onto John here. Poor innocent John holding a book, just sitting there reading a book. And, other people tell you, Brad, all the time, don't tell them, when they're going to K-word or S-word themselves. Like, is that really necessary on a social audio conference app to bring up such violent and, horrific rhetoric? Does anyone here think what Brad just said was maybe inappropriate, insensitive, maybe vulgar or profane? And does anyone here think it was projection on Viking's part? Thank you for consideration of my question. I am complete, and I have landed my plane.
I think that the funny part of Clubhouse is that it's like Cheers, as we know, right? Like, we trigger each other sometimes, but we're all OG. Well, I guess we're OGs. I hate that expression, but the fact that we keep coming back and hanging, like, if you really don't like someone, you often will leave the room. I think this is the case for most people. Maybe I'm wrong. But by and large, as much as we all may disagree on different things, blah, 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 we have stuck it out with each other for a long time. So, I mean, when you think about it, let's say you go into go to an event. We'd be far more likely to hang out with each other than we would other people. Because we just know their style, it's familiar. I just think it's an interesting
Some of you would get clocked in the head.
Actually, when you went off on, when you and Dr. Adams, the Dr. Adams thing, that I haven't heard. That got pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not that it got heated, but it got pretty, like, you guys were definitely venting.
Oh yeah, Adam contacted his lawyer. Are you scared, bro?
Are you sure?
Yeah, Dr. Jordan, I don't necessarily think this place is as special as maybe you think it is. These internet forums have been around for many, many years. I have other stuff like football forums and groups that I communicate in. And I've been on social media audio apps prior to Clubhouse, and this is just a phase or a fad. I appreciate the time with people, but I don't know, I don't hold it up in such high regard as maybe some other people do, because it's just another app, man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but how? So, given this experience, are you surprised? Like, have you been on other apps as long as your tenure on Clubhouse, or does that not really even matter?
Yeah, I have. America.
Got it.
See, Dr. Jordan, I was using the internet for affiliate marketing and media buying and arbitraging and ad networks. And I was on a forum called Wicked Fire with this guy named John Fisher, who was like a very successful online webmaster. And and all these ad networks that would broker direct response advertisements online. And so I met up with all those people. I played poker with them. I went to parties. I went to trade shows for years and years and years. And I'm still connected to all those people on Facebook. But we don't do business anymore, and we don't exchange traffic with each other and arbitrage traffic with each other. And so I don't know how much more you think Clubhouse is going to be anything, because nobody here is even engaged in any kind of actual commercial transaction. So it's really just a short-term entertainment, dopamine fix.
That's not true. I actually have done some business with people who I'm friendly with, but I don't actually see.
Well, what I'm saying is real business at scale and full automation, not like, hey, let's sign a contract and wire transfer.
John, get it right. It's arbitron, not arbitrage. You don't use it.
Arbitron, what is that, like some type of,
What is arbitrage?
Arbitrage is just buying low, selling high. It's making a profit off of clicks, revenue per clicks versus cost per click.
Arbitron.
Have you heard of this little company called Google? That does about 750 billion a year in revenue. Hello?
I'm teaching you something, dumbass.
No, John's right. Arbitrage.
Are you done? It's arbitron. It's what I was teaching him. So, okay.
I got it. I like the movie. I think everybody likes that movie. With the neon lights and the future technology. But, there used to be Tiny Chat. I don't know, did anybody here use Tiny Chat? Because that was Clubhouse, but with video. And we worked and networked with people that were buying huge amounts of traffic on Facebook, making, retirement kind of money, $20 million kind of money, doing online advertising arbitrage. Hello?
Look, Mitch. For a second. Mitch. There's like a whole list of
Speaking of politics, Joe, I think you asked.
You can call him a kike, you can call him a
What's going
tiny
on
ass,
with Cash
you can call him a
Patel?
baby
What's the
dick
big
sucker,
deal
you
on
gotta
this?
tell him to go eat pepperoni. Come on, you guys gotta get creative.
Today, we got into it with a congressman,
Like, this is like, someone
and
talking about.
he was challenged over his drinking habits, and Cash Patel challenged the congressman back. He said, well, I'll take a test if you take the
What about
test.
Shylock? That's really old. That's like from like Shakespeare. I like Shakespeare. I like using your own language. All these like slurs. How does it impact me? Nothing. Right? Like,
I mean,
hatred stuff.
it seems to me like whether I like Cash Patel or not, it seems like a petty argument simply because there's so much else going on in the world. What is it? Did the mainstream media try and beat on Cash Patel? I mean, even though I don't like it, I'm like, yeah.
It was a Democrat congressman that brought it up, Dr. Jordan.
No, I didn't.
Maybe I was just
It was
the reality is I don't hate all
But
Jews.
did
I
the news
love a lot of Jewish people.
commentator, did the news
But you are an
commentator,
asshole. I am definitely a
what direction did they take it? Because I think it's hard to spin it in a very substantive issue.
You understand that this is an ethno-national movement, and then suddenly reduce it to hate. And I don't have any problem with it. So your movement's based out of hate too? No, but let's be honest. Okay, so then don't sit here and say that we're based out of hate. Don't say this is a hate movement. This is a love of our own.
So Rabbanu Shalom, we got Bima and Eddie down there and Kirill. And then we got Muhammad and Steve. Steve is such a nice guy. and Stinny, who never says nothing but's always listening. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Relationships. Pepe let it all hang out today and talked about, his observations on society and feminism and racism and modern women and society and abortions and femininity and masculinity. He was articulate. He ejaculate. And it was, a typical Pepe show. Rabono Shalom, the green frog of Clown House. And JB is back too. Jay Braska's back with his banger rooms. Wow. Clown House at its finest. Everybody, including Steve Appel, the Johnny Carson of Clown House.
Wow, thank you.
What room? Where did JB have a room? What was this room called?
I don't know. I was in it and I clipped it. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, he was talking about how war is all about oil and nothing else.
Do your Steve impersonation.
Well, I'm going on a cruise, and I'm not worried about the hentavirus because I'm an atheist. An atheist that doesn't believe in God. Divorced my wife 20 years ago and joined the lifestyle. I was a swinger! And now I'm a clubhouse. Ask the atheist, Uncle Steve!
Actually, I hear Uncle Steve on Sunday here in LA. It's pretty funny to hear his voice. On his, he does the radio show with the attorney, and you can't miss the show on Sunday because talk radio, you only have a few channels even in LA that people really listen to. So it's fun to catch him on there.
Well, he has made over one. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
John, I wanted to ask you, have you considered doing an hour roundup or a roundup of Heard Around Clubhouse? I mean, as much as you monitor and follow all the different rooms, like a news hour or something?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, Matt Cool, you, Pepe, Ant, like Beaver, like you guys, have done all the heavy lifting. And it's just all sitting out there on my YouTube accounts. And today I just, turned about, 1,000 more to unlisted from private. So there's even more out there now. And there is so much that it's just unwatchable. And I would challenge any of you to actually search John Kitover and watch yourself talking. And then when you watch yourself talking, you'll say, yeah, I don't want to watch this. This sucks. So it's kind of like dating a woman. Like, if it fucking sucked the first time, the second time's not going to get any better. So you just got to consider, if you watch John Kitover Movies Incorporated and you see yourself, you just have to ask yourself, like, was it worth it? And in your memory, is your memory as good as the YouTube video that you appear on? I think that's really, a nice question. Interesting question. There's other interesting questions about, are people compulsive? About what they do. See, Pepe uses a lot of psychiatric and mental health terms, and I just think that Clubhouse proves that, projection is real. Ad hominem projection. Anytime you insult someone else, it's really a jab at yourself. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? Hello? Hello?
I can't absolutely not, I can't stand listening to replay rooms. I definitely will not go out and listen to myself. Would be awful. I don't know how some people do it. I only want live action. I got to be here for it when it happens. If not, I'll never go back and listen to what happened yesterday. I don't like doing the news that way.
You know who's actually extremely consistent is Gary Baumgarten, and technically that's just the 5 o'clock news. So if everybody here at 5 o'clock every day was to open their own room and call it 5 o'clock news and just do a news broadcast, like you said, a roundup of clubhouse news or actual news on Drudge Report, etc., it's the same thing. So, but Gary Baumgarten just yells at people, and that's what Steve Appel does. So, I mean, that's their dopamine rush. That's their show, and it works. The 5 o'clock news, where you just scream at people, that's because it's really just peak usage when people get on the internet. After they've completed their daily life patterning and life cycling and working, etc. So, the 5 o'clock news, is a business opportunity for anyone.
Yeah, I try not to get on this app when daylight's out. I don't know, it just seems weird to be on this part. This is just like a late night place to talk. Do any of y'all actually listen to replay room?
Not unless they involve Monica getting made fun of.
No, never do that. I don't understand it.
But I actually changed my recording studio downstairs because I've been filming Politically Correct for like, I don't know, 3 months maybe, and other rooms, this room and other rooms. But I basically moved all the cameras. I had like 20 cameras pointed at one Clubhouse account that was on Anon for like a month, and then it, no longer was a subscription, but that account was still not getting kicked from rooms. So I was like, okay, great. So, anyways, got a huge amount, and really, that band, aka Goat, there's no way, and there's other people like Breyer, supposed professor. If you really listen to what they say, it's like 10 major talking points. One of them is indigenous rights, obviously, as everyone knows, indigenous rights. Jim Crow comes up a lot. Jim Crow, Jim Crow, Jim Crow. Big one, big one. Immigrant communities, another huge one. Huge one. Student debt, another huge one. Just, there's 10 topics, and I'm sure all of you could say it. Here's another one. Here's another one here. Global warming, obviously, environment. Huge one. Nothing ever about the debt. Sometimes you get a breakthrough national debt crisis moment in these types of rooms. But again, this is the elite, intellectual, liberal, gay, black Democrat. That intellectual, like Hurricane or Isaiah, aka Goat, and other, academic professors here. And many of them say, I was an economics undergrad. Oh my God. So the great thing about AI is you can just quickly get 10 extracts from any book or any topic, and then everybody's argument here just falls apart. It's really just a show. And so to get gaslit or manipulated or played by somebody like Goat, aka Ban, well, maybe you'll have fun. But when you watch yourself on John Kitover's YouTube account, again, you're going to have to ask yourself, was it worth it? Because when you think back about your experiences here on Clubhouse and then you go back to YouTube and you watch your experience, does your memory accurately match what you see on the YouTube version of Clubhouse? Hello?
guess that was pretty deep. No one has a follow-up. You got a lot of crash outs on your YouTube, huh, there, John?
A lot of my own crash outs. I like to clip when I like mock people. You know, I think I'm like really making fun of people. I like to clip that to
What does your
store.
family say about your clubhouse? I mean,
I think nobody wants to talk about it, you know, but like if they do want to talk about it, you know, my response is always it's art. Pictures and videos are art. You're a critic. Like Pepe, you guys don't know this, but Pepe and I are actually friends off the app, and we text each other. And he showed me a text that he was having with his father, and it said, "Hey, Dad, I got that clip from that app Clubhouse, and that guy John Kitover who records everything that I say that I hate, and 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 that is, you know, that's the Pepe show on Clubhouse. Hello."
has your dad seen any clips of you on the toilet with all those cameras in the background?
I don't know. He's probably too busy living his best life. And, you know, I gotta say that, like, you know, as a son, it's a little bit, like, embarrassing or shameful to know that, like, your father has disowned you because he thinks you're, like, an internet clown. But I would just say,
That happened?
well, I'm just saying, like, if you had a son and you Googled him and then you watched his YouTube account, and, you know, you would have to make an opinion, right? Like, is my son a clown and a court jester on a social audio conference call app owned by Reid Hoffman that sells all the data, you know, to Tulsi Gabbard? I mean, hello?
Did you ever try beating the hell out of me?
Oh, both my parents.
When you were a kid?
Both my parents got some good wallops on me. But my dad never ever like abused me. Like he only like basically defended himself against my attacks, you could say. But my mother most definitely got some good wallops, you know, for some transgressions, and you know, never really fought back.
Have you ever thought of yourself as kind of a hybrid between Sebastian, who's that Italian, I can never say his name, Sebastian
Yeah, Maniscalco.
whatever his name is, and like Woody Allen or Seinfeld? I mean, because I think you do a good kind of combo of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing.
Well, I like, you know, I think the Dr. Jordan show really about relationships is funny. But see, Clubhouse excels in that already, which is really Black Clubhouse. Black Clubhouse has had every conversation at an infinite, fully automated rate, and relationships is one of their funnest things to talk about. And when you have, you know, the format is essentially what Sig does on here, which is bring in a ghetto ratchet hood rat and let her embarrass and humiliate herself, and then, you know, beat her up and toss her to the ground. Something to that. It's cats playing with balls, you know, or men playing with their balls. It's relationships. You know, it's not always pretty because the truth is this app really gives you insight into people's personality, how they talk, how they communicate, how they move across the face of the earth. What is their truth? What is their birth all about? What's their death going to be about? And, you know, then they have to ask themselves, was it worth it? Hello?
Siblings, like a brother or sister or anything?
Yeah, I have a sister. She changed her last name. I was like, that's probably a good idea. You know, wouldn't want to be associated with your brother anymore, whose last name is all over the internet. But there are actually a few other famous Kitovers that I'm sure they're like not too happy that John Kitover dominates the Kitover search. You know.
Do you see them like on Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything?
No, everybody's kind of fully decentralized to essentially prevent any gaslighting, you know, or emotional journal taking. So we have all fully distributed and de-assimilated, you know, as far as possible to prevent any type of emotional triggering. And Clown House is really just that. Like, when Pepe says horrifically disgusting, vulgar, profane, terrible things, and nobody says anything, like G word, the J words, he says just actually what I would call like, hard to say. Maybe like TBI. Today he was talking about borderline personality disorder, and anyways, it's really not quite as bad as with Dr. Adams and Viking here, But I gotta say, for the content, it's very unique. And actually, Marshall Rankin, I know everybody always sticks up for Marshall, maybe because they view him as being harmless. And I agree. I think Marshall Stankin Rankin is probably a harmless individual, but if you were in a hierarchical structure with Marshall Rankin over you, you might not be too enthused with having to answer and work for Marshall Rankin. Just an opinion. Not saying he's a bad guy, just saying I wouldn't want to have to work under him if it ever came to that, which I'm sure it never will. And so, with regards to clubhouse relationships, we are all nodes. And, as John Kitover, I have so many videos of you talking about so many different things. And that's why I say I think every conversation that you could have ever wanted to have has already happened. There's no new conversation that you can have on this app. It's just a pattern. It's just spam. You're going to say the same shit, think the same shit. Unless you read a book. And if you use ChatGPT to communicate with us and just read from ChatGPT as if you're actually talking from, your intellect or your brain without reading from a cell phone, well, that's cool. You do you. Life's a stage. Let's hear you read something and get everybody amazed. Make yourself feel good about what you just read. That's great. And when you leave the gym and you exit that nursery area of the gym to get back in your baby seat with your mommy in the parking lot because ChatGPT made you feel so great. You said, just ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Put it in ChatGPT. Give me the ChatGPT link. Have you heard people on this app just get so upset? Give me the ChatGPT link. Wow. Such strong opinions about so many different topics. Wow. Dying on a hill over topic A, topic B, topic C, topic D. Hello?
Yeah, no, this is you're onto something there. This is definitely the first stage of letting AI and robots think for us. Like we're already in the first stages of letting coming to it and asking it for suggestions and everything else. To where 100 years from now, the more we evolve this, we're definitely going to rely on it very, very heavy. Like, what is the next 2 generations going to do with AI?
Well, I don't think we know what our generation is going to do with AI before we can talk about the next 2 generations.
I mean, our generation is doing a lot with AI as far as just going into write essays for us. We're making deep fake edits of people. I just saw a video of Donald Trump and the Ayatollah in a WWE WrestleMania event, and he just hit everybody with chairs. Like, we use it to like make jokes and everything now because it's like brand new to us. But I'm pretty sure within the next 50 years.
You got Comfy and the whole, all of the people that have semi-relationship to the whole, whatever the
human things can't even be done by humans.
That's the correct numbers. I hate to get the answers wrong, but
In 5 years,
764, that's the one, right?
Gadget.
The 764 shit. Yeah, exactly. And you've got all of these people that are at the very least tangentially tied to it, and some people that are like directly tied to it. You got Stu Peters is another great example of just like an absolute of a really loud voice in the movement that's just like, all right, what the fuck? And that's and then we got let's look at who else is anti-Semitic and oftentimes gets lumped in with us. You got fucking the absolute freaks too, like Sneeko.
It's like, well, we diverge more on basically everything else, but yet he'll still get lumped in with us because he might say the same things about Israel or whatever the fuck, but it's all just, we don't have anyone that's really that serious is the problem, at the end of the day, and the ones that are serious are fucking complete goobers, and usually they're goobers and they have a checkered past, which is the retarded thing. It's like, I don't know, it's hard enough, I guess, to just not be a complete freak. They also have, like, criminal history, or they have, civil litigation that they went through because they fucking scammed their, like, ex-employer, or, some other scandalous shit, all the way from fucking just basic crimes to, pedophile stuff. And it's fucking, I don't know, we talk about disproportionately represented, fuck it, it is what it is,
For electoral success, there's one metric that always.
Hang on, Mitch. Hang on. On Shut the Builder, right? I have to, I've been really wanting to talk about that fucking guy.
I've been saying that since day one, bro, and now everyone's saying the same shit you are.
Yeah, thanks, Colin.
I'll say it, like you were.
Thanks.
Guys, Wolfie, guys, I honestly, if I wasn't extreme for the time, I wouldn't unmute.
Bro, Prison Mike says thanks. Okay?
Yes. Do you know what that reference?
About chat. You know what Prison Mike is? You know who Prison Mike is? W? Okay, good. Alright, go ahead, Prison Mike, if you're short on time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Prison Mike. You could call me Prison Mike, because I actually know it. I'm from fucking Scranton, so fucking course I know what Prison fucking Mike is.
Are you from fucking Scranton, bro?
My fucking guy. I fucking know every single fucking street, brother. You guys retarded?
Dude, at the office is most of my shit, man.
You think I'm fucking... Can you hear my fucking accent, bro? Oh, man. Listen, guys. Hold on, guys. Hold on. A fucking astrophysicist from Scranton is speaking. Hold the phone, guys. Okay. So, what I found out today is that they actually have a paper conference. Okay. I was at the bar, and these guys walk up to me. These guys... I'm not capping, bro. I swear to God, on my life, dude. On my life, these guys. Because I was down at Consensus.
Dunder Mifflin Paper Company over here.
So, brother, Wolf, listen, man. I'm swear on my life, dude. I'm at this fucking, I'm beachside. I'm at this little restaurant or whatever. I'm just ready to go to my next hotel or whatever. Upgraded the hotel, And because the other one I was staying at was dog shit. So I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of this one. So I'm just chilling as I'm ready to check in. And these people come up to me with a freaking, shit around their neck. Like a consensus. Everyone wears fucking passes around their neck. Like, who am I? What's your fucking hat? What's your name, man? And basically, I'm looking at the shit like, because I was just at Consensus where everyone's like wearing the fucking hang tags. I'm like, well, what type of conference is this? They said the paper conference. I was like, are you guys fucking CIA Matrix agents trying to take me out? Like, be honest with me for a second. Like, be real with me. I swear to God, it's just one of those synchronicities where they literally have a forestry, because apparently the whole paper industry is based on leaves and trees. And if you don't understand the ethics of the sourcing and supply chain of the trees, how to get different styles and forms of paper, different textures of paper, how do we move the paper? I went from Consensus to the fucking paper conference, and now tomorrow is the fucking cleaning conference, where everyone who cleans fucking commercial office buildings, the cleaners. So I literally went to Consensus, but now just by the grace of God, meandering around Western Florida, now I just hit 2 conferences. I didn't see a single fucking panel. I didn't fucking need to. It's all about paper and fucking cleaning toilets, bro. This shit is a fucking movie, but apparently Trump and them are up in there, and they're having some cloth talk. I'm talking about the future, the long-term future. I'm consulting some ancient wisdom, Lao Tzu, Sun Tzu, Aristotle, Plato, they're not fucking playing now, bro. These, Rubio, he shut down Texas, a surgeon. You know, I've been, I don't even know where to start, man, but I think that is a silly question. I think that's a silly question. I think it's a very silly question.
Okay, so
What nigga talks about AI?
I mean, honestly, I think skin color is retarded because if you guys are not in,
Bro, I'd say maybe he's black. He's not like an official, but official is cool.
It's not just skin color, my friendo.
well, no, the fact that you're not even in the holographic realm operating, I feel bad
Oh,
for you.
bro, I'm in the holographic realm. I know all about the holography. I got lasers all over my fucking apartment.
I know, right?
I'm all
I wouldn't want to talk about the house, that's for sure.
Last night, guys, hold on. All right, get this. Last night, I had my first eyes wide shut experience at 4 a.m.
Peter was speaking again.
No, it was not me. You would know if it was me.
Now that's good.
Some people
You
say.
sounded like back for a moment, John.
Some,
Do you look back from politically correct?
I-
You sounded like him for me for a second.
the number of attention.
Yeah, go bully Peter over there. You guys have never heard go bully Peter?
No, you can't do that. Because in the bullying other persons, Mullah is one of the most proficient ones. I promise you. Try to humiliate, try to manipulate, and try to use each and every technique to manipulate the person in front of them. But they could have not been successful in my case. Maybe 99.9%, but not me. So I think that you have your shot.
100%.
Could you imagine, just to change the subject for a second, could you imagine the congressman in therapy? He'd be mocking his therapist. It'd be funny. Mr. Congress, how do you
I've
handle
done
therapy?
that. I went before a panel of psychiatrists at the VA hospital, and I said, not one of you are even smiling. I was like, am I the only happy person in the room? And then they all started laughing.
What's your diagnosis? Did they diagnose you with anything?
Well, I'm not sure if you're familiar with HIPAA, Health Information Privacy Rights Act. I think, talking about health issues on social audio apps like Clown House, where people can weaponize videos about you, because I put people's name, like Brad Stauffenberger here, yesterday I created a ton of Brad Stauffenberger videos.
So that's a yes. They definitely
And Dr. Jordan, I've created tons of Dr. Jordan videos. You can go on YouTube and type your names in, and you'll see.
your own information if you want.
You'll see John Kitover videos of you, And a lot of the people here that don't use their real information, they're actually really big pussies. Big pussies. Big pussies. Because everybody here probably knows my home address. And, I'm not worried about it. If one of you guys show up and you got a problem with John Kitover, well, some people leave a postcard in the mail. Some people come back here and say, hey, I'm outside of John Kitover's house and I'd like to file a formal complaint. And, I called the police last night on 2 people who were on my property, and they were cutting shit down and stealing stuff and taking shit, and they were intoxicated. They had bags full of garbage. And he was an illegal alien, So I called ICE, and the ICE took him away. And I said, where are you going to send him? And they said, Alcatraz Island in Florida. I said, I thought they were shutting that one down. They said, oh, no, we're going to make sure they go right there, Mr. Kitover. Because I got people. Oh, you're one to talk, Mike Allen. I mean, I go into rooms in A&out and I hear you talking with other people. Is that projection? Because,
I thought no, you're worried about people coming. Those people you're talking about, are they in the room with you right now?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, let me put a link in the chat, and you tell me what you think your diagnosis of John Kitover is. And I'll let you know whether or not I think your diagnosis is accurate. But watch the video first, and then you tell me. Hello?
I thought it was like a brain injury from being over in Iraq or something.
No, I never deployed overseas. The psychiatrist said the medication would kill me in the heat. I said I'd have liver failure, kidney failure. You won't make it, John. I said, well, you know, I don't need to go to Afghanistan. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna go to Vegas for a couple of weeks, have a good time. And the psychiatrist was like, thank you, Mr. Kitover. Enjoy your life. I just had a federal disability judge tell me the other day, Mr. Kitover, enjoy your life. I said, you too, Judge. Thank you. He said, no, thank you. I said, no, thank you.
So one of the dangers is that Congressman is smarter than probably some of these clinicians are just good at memorizing things. And Kitover probably runs circles around them, and so it'd be entertaining to be a fly on the wall, to be honest. Yeah, Kitover's pretty smart, you know.
Well, anybody who buys cell phones, see, if you were to actually have $1 million and I were to say to you, okay, I want you to spend that million as efficiently as possible to try to make more money. Well, you only got so many options of investment for that $1 million. You could, but again, we're not talking about buying stocks. I'm talking about trying to buy shit in the real world. If you were to go on Amazon, eBay, the internet, Google Shopping, etc., and try to spend that $1 million, how would you actually efficiently buy shit? You know, and creating a business is very hard. Going $40 trillion into debt is not that hard apparently, but like creating real value, that's a challenge. And so a lot of people die with millions of dollars in stocks because you can't actually really kind of figure out how to efficiently use that money to try to get a positive ROI. And Clubhouse and cell phones and YouTube and communication networks and advertising networks, those are never going away. People will forever watch videos because it's such a huge compression. The data, the pixels, there's nothing like a video. So, I think my videos suck, but I'm at least, in my opinion, incredibly consistent. And Gary Baumgarten is an example of a guy who is consistent and has boundaries and time limitations, and he does this show, he's in, he's out. I mean, I want a woman like that, in and out, in and out, in and out, disciplined, boundaries, consistency, 5 o'clock news, in and out. Hello?
I think that he did not lose the time to take the screenshot for that last profile photo, because you might have clicked on the plus on each profile, then did not lose the time in a fraction of a second. A screenshot and put it on the profile photo. You are very fast.
I feel like it gets worse every week, Peter. It gets harder to. Are you purposely trying to Are you not practicing at all?
Yes, I think that the practice was on other things like baseball, other sports that made him fast enough to be able to react like that.
Nailed it. I walked right into that.
I mean, can any of you...
Yes, John, I think what Peter told you is wonderful advice.
I mean, I got a question for the room. If you guys were to prioritize, what do you think are the most amazing objects or substances, in reality? I mean, obviously, cell phones are the most amazing thing that we've created to date as a human population.
The toilet's pretty high up there. Toilet AC.
They had toilets in ancient Rome with boilers. That's not new.
Ours is way better.
Mike Allen, what I'm trying to say is basically a cell phone is nothing more than a laptop compressed to about 1/16 the size of a laptop. And that's pretty amazing that you can surround yourself with 30 laptops all pointed at you with a lens and a microphone. Video technology, and look at Clavicular. Clavicular made it big as a live streamer on Kick, a platform. Who here on this, George Santos made it to Congress, he got pardoned. At least George Santos from this app took off an LGBTQ rocket made of solid CUM, rocket propellant. And, solid or liquid rocket propellant.
He came from his dad? I didn't know that.
You didn't know George Santos was on this app as a trans? Hello?
Before he got the
Yeah, he told us he was gonna run on this app.
Was he your inspiration, Kitover?
What?
No, he's not my inspiration. I'm saying if that's as good as it gets, it's still amazing. Hello?
What's the function? What is the hello? Is that from a TV show? Some character?
No, that's from Jazzy. Jasmine, the Florida Queen. Hello?
And Santos what inspired you to run for Congress, Kitover? You saw him do it, so you thought you could do it?
No.
No, he inspired Santos.
No. I ran for committeeman. The Republicans here spent $10,000 getting me off the ballot. I run for Congress. They spent $150,000 getting me off the ballot. I'm about to run for mayor. I'm also running for Chicago Public School Board. And they'll probably spend another $100,000 getting me off the ballot. And in the process, I can challenge Mayor Brandon Johnson, and I have an actual methodology on how to do the challenges now because I've done them so many times, that there's a possibility I can remove somebody from the ballot. If I do that, now I'm a political player because it's really about ballot access. And as a manipulator of the ballot, I have played the game, and I'm going to keep playing the game. People on this app should play the game, but they just come here and play the clubhouse game. They run their mouths. They don't do anything. They do no do. At least I have done the do. And I get compliments. Wow, I'm so proud of you. At least you did something. Yeah, that was my slogan. Vote for John Kitover. It's better than nothing.
You can learn from Spencer Pratt, maybe.
John, why are they worried about you? Why do they spend money to get you off the ballot, John? What are they afraid of?
Because they control the Central Committee for the Illinois Republicans.
No, I'm saying, what are they afraid that you're going to do? What are they not? What's your agenda that they're afraid
Nothing. It's a clique, and they want to maintain their clique. I mean, people.
Oh, it's a cool kid crowd. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
The Republican Party doesn't really want new blood, even though they advocate it. They do. You haven't connected that yet, Mike?
I thought John was running I could see John being like, I'm gonna indict all y'all motherfuckers. We're gonna open up all kinds of investigations. All the dirt's coming out. And they're like, fuck, hey, John.
Well, I've called, for Donald Trump to send in the FBI, the Border Patrol, and ICE and arrest criminal Illinois Democrat judges. That doesn't seem to me out of proportion with what they're doing. We have 200 plus murderers who have disappeared on ankle monitor because the DEI social equity justices, who are all black judge Democrats or female judge Democrats, release black murderers who end up disappearing. I wonder why they want to disappear. But the truth is they probably shouldn't even disappear because the sentencing is so light now that they've disappeared. That now they're basically, felons on the run and they're scofflaws and their life is only going to get worse. Hello?
So your earlier point, John, you brought up the greatest invention being the cell phone. I've thought a lot about this, and I think really what's changed in the last 100 years more than anything is the speed of communication. Now the cell phone plays a part in that, but it's the internet, it's the 24-hour news cycle. The biggest thing that our generation has different than the generations in the past would be how quick we can communicate, and it's only increasing every day faster and faster. And I think the speed of communication is really the thing that has changed our generation from the previous.
However, there is one challenge for that. And the challenge is that the reliability has been decreased since the morality has been significantly decreased. And in the last times...
Peter, this room is live right now. I can give you feedback immediately. That's what the communication loop is immediate feedback and live. So the room is live. You're live on YouTube. And the truth is, 20 years ago when I went to T-Mobile to buy my first Google Android, it sucked. It was like beta. It barely worked. It was nothing. Now we're talking about a communication network and a business that brings in hundreds of billions of dollars a year, which is not going away. All of humanity is and always will be essentially networked through Google, through YouTube, through Facebook, through Meta, through multiple platforms. Maybe this app. I think this app will probably be shut down because that VC boom at the $3 to $4 billion valuation has just deteriorated, and I don't think Cash Patel and NSA and Tulsi and CIA is going to keep buying redundant clubhouse conversations from Marshall Rankin. I don't know. It's just me. I don't think that the NSA and the CIA should be buying data if Marshall Rankin is like the intelligence, that the government is buying from this
They
fucking.
are not
Hello?
buying the data, John. They are not buying the data. They own the data, NSA or CIA. Would they need to buy that?
I don't know. I'm just saying Marshall Rankin said his favorite professor was his socialist professor. Did you hear him say it? I heard him say it. He's like, my favorite professor was a socialist, hardcore socialist.
Believe it.
Socialist professor should never be in the census together.
I'm a pretty skeptical person, but I believe he did say that, John.
He did. He did. He also has this horrible life regret about not completing his degree. If I would have just stuck it out a little bit longer and got that degree, my whole life could have been different.
Sometimes I cannot answer my skepticism, and I am thinking that I am taking a risk. However, it is clear other people can also do that, or have done that. But I am skeptical.
That's so true, Peter. 100%.
See, the risk is actually that you're inauthentic and that you're insensitive, or you are artificial, or you filter to such a high degree, you can't actually really take in your environment, and it's all just push down communication. I see venture capital firms like creating YouTube videos for search engine optimization purposes, and it's just employees talking about whatever the topic of the video is because they realize that like keywords are part of their VC firm or their M&A deals or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying everybody technically is in this content search optimization reality where if you have a business,
Whether you like it or not, right?
yeah, whether you like it or not. I mean, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Ultimately, at some meeting, you need to discuss, what are your keywords, where do you rank, and what's the content surrounding it, how does it apply to our business or organization, and there's no real organizing, and it's all entertainment. This app is a slot machine. This app is just a cell phone game. This app is game theory. It's like people going to play BattleTech, at the mall in the 90s. But it's now called Clubhouse, where people do online debate and rhetoric and read from ChatGPT in dramatic ways. And they hypnotize you with, their Viking ferocious, dopamine creating rhetoric and screaming and loud miking. Hello!
I don't know about y'all, but I can't stand when they start screaming at each other. I try my best to avoid that shit, but it's absolutely just messy and dirty. And it's like, y'all are grown ass people. Like you're screaming at an anon on the other side of the phone, like only for your own pride and ego. That's really all it's for.
For my own assurance, I wanted to ask you this: if you opened the door, if you were instead of me, or would have you kept it closed? If somebody, in my case, were facing a big construction, unusual work, in the morning in front of his door in the corridor, in a dormitory. This was a heavy question.
Bieber, can you translate for us?
I wanted to ask you if you were in my situation. The question is that I woke up with a harsh noise of construction in front of my door, and they were, for example, making the noise of construction but nobody informed us before by email or out of the usual. It was out of usual, and they also knocked on my door, but I did not open it. Would you have opened it if you were in my case or not? Because I want to know if I am too skeptical or not.
He's worried that the IRGC is out to get him, so he's very nervous.
I get what you asked.
Why would they just kick in your door if they're gonna get you there?
No, they cannot, because I am armed inside.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where I would live. When I lived in some pretty tough areas in New Orleans, getting a knock on my door, it depends on what type of the hour, you know. But you couldn't look out. You don't have a peephole.
I am fully alone. No, that's why. Because
In the door though, do you have a peephole in your door?
no, it is just one person.
But you don't have a way to see who's on the other side of the door from inside.
But this door is old school. It doesn't have those lenses on the door to show the other side.
The lens, yeah. Okay. I mean, it's really what your comfort level is. I mean, I don't answer every phone call I get because, damn, they always trying to, scam me or whatever. I don't think you can be too skeptical if you feel like it depends on your safety and security.
Peter, you're like Mr. Bean. You're like the Iranian Mr. Bean. I could just see you like flying back to Tehran and coming in Clubhouse, and we like send you instructions on what to do, and you're like, oh my god, I think the IRGC is following me. I'm in my taxi headed to my hotel. Please tell me what I should do. I'm very nervous.
IRGC cannot do shit inside Berlin. They may have hired some kind of proxies because they can access digital banking like Ethereum, Bitcoin. I think they can pay the proxies and in that neighborhood. For example, like the other projects that they have been trying to do, like some of them successful, some of them unsuccessful. Some of them on Iranian, some of them on non-Iranian. One of the most important one of the Argentinian prosecutors who were trying to prosecute the big bombing of 3 decades ago, who were assassinated when she was on the watch in the capital of Argentina 10 years ago about. And another one, I think, was Charlie Kirk. Another one was trying to assassinate Masih Ahmadinejad twice by those Azerbaijani judo players. And they cannot kiss my ass themselves. They can just use the money and resources of the country against the country. And that's the thing. We need to hunt them down.
Bro, that kiss my ass part came out perfectly clear. Like, you've nailed the kiss my ass phrase. Everything else we gotta work on. The kiss my ass thing, I got that one. And Peter, I think you're good, but, stand your ground, right? I don't want people knocking on my door either. I hate what's
And my arm is not that kind of warm arm. It is some kind of cold arm. I have a kitchen knife, but it is a really sharp one.
You gotta be quick, then you take one out, then you got their gun, right? So now, you're alright. And then, go out swinging, buddy.
You could just pull them with cuteness. You'd be so sure that they would melt.
Do you guys have apples? Collect a bunch of apple seeds and then offer them like tea or whatever the fuck y'all drink, and then boom, done. Put a bunch of apple seeds in their shit. They're done for it. I saw it on Ozarks. I don't remember the works.
Peter, they would see you in your construction hat, and they would see how cute you are, and your voice, and then they would just feel so overwhelmed with cuteness that they wouldn't hurt you. They would let you go.
It would be pretty hard to hurt you, Peter, once you, if I'm talking to you in person. It's like, oh my god. You're
So
If you speak with cuteness, they would be more brutal because they say that you need to be, for example, like us. They are jealous.
They would see you like a little cute little puppy that's injured, and they would pet you and let you live.
I hope so, I hope so. But there was one Iranian executed today, Ehsan Afroshte. His first name was like mine. I was Ehsan before Peter. And he was going back, he landed inside the international airport of Tehran, and they detained him since then, and he was in some kind of solo cell, and he was under mental and physical torture by now in the last 1.5 year, and today morning, early morning, he was executed. He was 1 year younger than me, and if you see the face, his cuteness is more than me, I promise. I have very yellow hairs, I think, but he was too cute. Let me shake the link in the chat so you see the guy.
Don't underestimate your cuteness, Peter, but I do think it might be a bad strategy. You ever thought about being a spy? Like pretending to be on their side and then boom, gaining intel and fucking putting one of those things in your room where you have like a big thing on your wall and you got a bunch of yarn like connected to a bunch of fucking thumbtacks and shit, and like fucking, you know, next thing you know, like 10 years later there's a movie about you and shit. Fucking Peter, the cutest spy ever or some shit. I don't know. Think about it, whatever.
Because I am not on mission. I am on my own command.
Got it, boy.
I command myself. The S4 that's commanding
I'm
me.
where? Whoa. Where? You come on what? That's impressive.
He said he came on himself.
I thought he said his face.
You have that kind of distance?
What, you like shoot it up in the air and like put your face underneath it? How do you do this?
Let me check this out, Peter, see if they're... Copy. No, Peter, this guy doesn't have your cheeks and your cartoonish vibes.
Nice to know, thank you. Because this was my intention, to become as comic as possible, because I still want to remain a child. And those pills, if they can reverse engineering to be a child, I want to be.
Like, I think like
I didn't get that one.
he's saying those pills that reverse aging, they'll make him a child again, and that's what he wants.
Yes, 14 years old. To go inside alley and play football, break the windows.
Bro, Beaver, did I stumble across this one thing? So I watch these fucking weird ass videos on YouTube every night. Like, not every night, but like, you know, when I'm getting ready to go to bed. They're like these fucking, like the, I don't know, it's like, there's like 3 people that do it that I've found so far. They like, look at like 10-second, 20-second conspiracy theories on like either TikTok or YouTube Shorts or blah, blah, right? And they just kind of like blast through them all. They don't really talk about them. They don't really do it. They just let you hear them all. And it's fucking wild. Ted's Terror Tale's a good one. And then the other dude's like I Trek. And then the other dude's, fuck, I forget the other guy's name. But whatever. The one I fucking heard, so these billionaires or whatever, they're working on these things where like they have like young bodies. It's like a body, like a clone body that doesn't have a brain. So it's like a 10-year-old body. And they're going to implant their brain into the new body, right? It's like a brain transplant. And basically their brain will now, it's like, remember that whole, like, the whole thing, like, I wish I knew what I knew now when I was younger?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so like now they're going to literally have their brain go back and being a 10-year-old. And then the body, and then once they activate the body, it ages. So, like, they basically just are a 10-year-old again. And then they age, and then they do it again and shit. It's fucking crazy. Kind of like The Island. You ever seen the movie The Island? Where like they have a bunch of clones, and then the rich just use them like they need a liver, or if they need a kidney, or if they need a lung. they have a bunch of clones of themselves that just go and take a lung, or they'll go and take a liver, or go and take whatever. But it's like they're building these like clones without brains, and they're gonna put their brains in the new body. It's fucking crazy. And there's like investment for this. I forget the company. I'll go find the company, but like yeah, there's like investment for it. They're already working on rats. They're already doing it with rats. They clone like rats without brains. They're trying to transplant rat brains into other. It's fucking nuts. With the whole reverse aging thing. I've heard of that one, and then the blood transfusion. So they take like, it's like an 80-year-old person will take like a 20-year-old's blood, and they'll like put the 20-year-old's blood into the 80-year-old body, and the younger blood will like regenerate shit. That's fucking crazy too. Yeah.
I have a news topic if y'all want to discuss it. Anyone else want to finish up that thread with mine?
No, please don't. Go ahead, Joe.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, oh no, let's see, two to 3 years ago, I read on Twitter this account called Clandestine. I don't know if y'all know him. Clandestine was discussing that in Ukraine there was American-funded biolabs that were doing gain of function to different strains of viruses, and the rumor was that this was part of some of the stuff that Hunter Biden was involved with. Well,
Real quick, Joe, what's the gain of function thing mean exactly? Like it's stronger?
yeah, it's where they changed the molecular structure of the virus to
So they take the virus and make it
weaponize it.
Okay.
Weaponize it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, during the heat of all this, and it might have been even prior to that, prior to 23, it might have been 22. And this was Twitter 1.0, I guess is what they call it. Clandestine was his account was deleted after this. And, this was during all the COVID hype. And I remember reading about it, and I talked to Naveen about it for a while. And I'm like, man, do you hear what they're saying about this shit? Of course, I try not to get up on this app and like spread a bunch of stuff. I read a lot, but I don't talk about everything I read. And sure enough, here today, it was announced by Tulsi Gabbard that they are investigating 120 different biological laboratories overseas that have received U.S. tax dollars for decades. Gabbard told the New York Post on Monday that her team is going to identify where these labs are, what pathogens they contain, and what research is being conducted to end dangerous gain of function research that threatens the health and well-being of the American people in the world. A few days ago, I was reading Clandestine's. He was talking about this, that this was going to get released, and he had actually been brought in by the Trump admin, I don't know, a year ago or so, and he shared all this information with them. And he eventually got back on Twitter once Elon Musk bought Twitter and stuff like that. But look, a lot of that COVID era, man, it's just more and more information is coming out. People that were trying to get honest reporting out, and that they were getting deleted and censored, and it's coming to fruition, or at least, he declined us. I didn't know what they were doing in these labs. Labs really do exist. And here we have been funding this shit for years. I guess the report is that it goes all the way back to the Cold War era with Russia, funding these labs. So this is something that I guess the American public, I never heard about this until we all think about it. American tax money is not funding gain of function research.
I think you're. I appreciate that.
Are you right about higher
you gotta do is talk to an intellectual, elite, liberal Democrat to tell you that everything you just said has been debunked. It's all a conspiracy and a lie. And, it's just ridiculous because we have a $1.2 trillion military industrial complex budget. A lot of that goes for biodefense weapon systems and offensive bioweapon systems and chemical weapon systems, etc. It's part of our weapons of mass destruction stockpile sitting in multiple countries around the world, prepared for all eventualities. And, I just gotta say, Peter, if you want to go back to Tehran or Esfahan, you want to come on Clubhouse, and you want to talk about the situation, I think we would all really enjoy that. And I'd be willing to pitch in $1 to get you on a flight, to get you back into Iran, so you could do on the ground observational studies, and research and inform us about what's going on. Would you be open to possibly going back to Iran if we could fund your trip from Berlin to Tehran?
I think that you will need to fought for yourself. You might need it more than me. Because you are at least a sportsman and you are able to do this with very fast reactions. If you want to keep that standard of reactions, you need to spend your money on your base. And for the other thing, I don't need the money for tickets. I need money for living. Like, for example, when I work, I take salary. Like, that kind of money. Real money. Not money for tickets, I am not that poor. And in that, like other Iranians that you expect, but going to Iran and Tehran, I am proud to be there. But in the same situation, if I go there, they would take my liver out of my body when I am alive.
Well, they can't take out your liver. What they would do is take out your second kidney.
Hold on. Joe, did you re-ask the question? Joe Hero.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard's announced that she's investigating 120 bioengineering labs that American taxpayers have been funding for decades that they were doing gain of function in. How does it make you feel that I didn't know about this prior to the COVID era? It hasn't been talked about much. I guess it dates all the way back to the Cold War era. What's your thoughts on it?
I think we should investigate it. It's our money.
Yeah, the spin would be, it's always been the same spin, that they use these labs to determine new strains of viruses so they can then create vaccines before those strains get out. However, there is a agreement, I don't want to frame it the wrong way, that countries are not supposed to be doing this. This is highly unethical and very risky, but it's getting closer to find out that America, China it may be likely that China was right when they said, oh no, this is actually an American virus. It might not have originated here, because it'll all end up tying back into what they were doing at the Wuhan eventually, I believe. So, what a crazy era COVID was.
Bro, did you know what I found out or whatever heard about? It's true. There in I think it was 2018 or 2019, I forget what it was. There was the military games. Have you heard about this? So there's this thing called the military games, where different militaries from all around the world send, it's like American Ninja Warrior, so to speak, right? They send a bunch of their military people. They do obstacle courses and different challenges and blah blah. And there's a winner or whatever. Well, the one in 2000, I think it was 18 or 19. It might have been 19. In 2019 was the last one they had a military games at, and guess where it was? In fucking Wuhan. So they had all these people from all over the world, their militaries. They went to Wuhan And I'll look it up real quick on what date when the date was. But it was like I think it was 2019. It's fucking wild.
Thanks for sharing that with me.
Yeah, it's fucking.
There was definitely some orchestration that went on with that era, especially when the videos they were releasing early on during the virus. We were seeing people dead in the streets. All that came out to be fake from B films and stuff like that. There was definitely a propaganda arm that was advancing this.
Yeah, so it was the 7th Military World Games, first international military multi-sport event held in China. It took place from the 18th to the 27th of October 2019. So it's like right, and then COVID was announced in like March 2020.
December. It started to spread in China during the Chinese New Year. The reason they call it COVID-19 is because I think it was discovered in December of 2019. So that's just months before the release of it.
Yeah, they're all in like literally Wuhan, China, October 18th and 27th, 2019.
Literally, Nancy Pelosi in January is walking around San Francisco saying, "Don't be racist. Don't worry about the bird flu. There's nothing coming from China. Don't be racist." I mean, do you remember that? And then Melinda French Gates, Bill Gates' wife, goes on Good Morning America and shows America how to wash their hands to remind us that this is how you successfully wash your hands in the event of a pandemic. Scandemic. Finally, Melinda French Gates knows that the Epstein files are going to embarrass the ever-living shit out of her and possibly actually end with Bill Gates and her in jail. And so they got a divorce because that separation of assets protected at least half of the fortune. Hello?
I do remember the Nancy Pelosi going down to Chinatown. And let me tell you, they've memory hold that story. You try to go out and find it, it's very difficult to find the links. It's still out there. But anytime you try and talk to a leftist or a Democrat about this shit, oh, they don't remember it at all. That never happened. What are you talking about?
Yep. And then fucking they all banged on Trump because he was shutting down the travel and everything. And then you look at China, and in China, if you were in China, you could travel anywhere else you wanted to, unless you were in Wuhan. Only Wuhan. You were not allowed to leave Wuhan or go anywhere else in China. But like if you were in like Beijing, you could go to somewhere else in China, like no problem. But like you could not leave Wuhan, so they restricted travel in Wuhan. But they were sitting there saying, "Oh no, it's not us, not us. We had nothing to do with it." Like those motherfuckers knew the whole time. They like Joe, they like concreted people in. They like sealed their doors shut, like welded their doors shut. They wouldn't even let them leave.
They had COVID-19 concentration camps in China, in Australia, probably Europe. I mean, these were like off-site housing facilities for those who were supposedly infected.
Like welded their doors shut.
Yeah, and our politicians, and they don't even say anything else about it. Like that was a very traumatizing part of my life. I think yours too. We've never been through medical tyranny like that before. The whole world had lost their mind. And that's really what put us on the course where we're at today.
Well, if you look at the videos or the pictures from the 20s when they were really rolling out vaccines, it was kind of the same thing. And then even in the AIDS epidemic, it's really just a question of scale. But there is this adverse reaction to what you put in your bodies. And then Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg create this Mark Zuckerberg Inflammation Institute because Mark Zuckerberg was pushers of the COVID-19 Zavs with Dr. Fauci on Facebook Live every day. And, you know, it was just a huge social media video creation effort. And Fauci went out and created videos every day. And Bill Gates made videos every day. And it was all these influencers reminding. And then you had the micro-influencers here on Clubhouse manipulating and lying to you and telling you all this shit Dr. Chiropractor Vinny Boom Bots in the Army, doing transportation for the Zavs, getting it out to the soldiers, coming on here, reminding you to get zapped up and giving you the research about mRNA and all this bullshit. It's like, I don't know, I've read estimates that 2 million people died, like on, 0 day, meaning like the day they started taking it at scale, like, unfortunately, 2 million people had adverse reaction and didn't make it. So, and now there's just it's probably caused they say it's the biggest mass carcinogenic event in human history. And, there's not one arrest. Finally, Rand Paul, if you look at Rand Paul's X account, 2 days ago, he's like, this is the last day you can arrest Fauci. It's like, oh, really? I don't think so. Like, I think at any time, if we want, we can, as the American people, through the law and through politics, and just sheer willpower, have Dr. Fauci arrested. I mean, doesn't seem like, if we're spending $60 billion on the CIA, we can't get some top secret CIA agent with no name called Dr. James Bond to go out there and get us Dr. Fauci's scalp. Well, yeah, that would be possible. Anything's possible. Hello?
My favorite part was when they were giving the Johnson & Johnson away in California for like, they were giving bags of weed and, like French fries and all kinds of shit. They're giving away the Johnson.
The lottery.
Johnson shot.
They had vaccine lotteries.
They discontinued the shot.
They had vaccine lotteries where you would, if you would get a lottery ticket if you got zapped, and you could win millions of dollars.
It's like they had a recall on the shot, like it was an automotive part. Like, oh, your Toyota's been recalled, bring it in. Motherfucker, it's a shot, dickhead. You can't just take it out of me. What you mean you discontinue it? What the fuck? That shit is nuts. That shit is crazy, bro.
The buyer's remorse, I talked to a lot of people on here that are really upset when you bring it up, and they say, you don't understand science, you don't understand statistics, go F yourself, you're a vaccine skeptic, a vaccine denier. And these are people with serious health issues. And they're telling you about the chemo they're on, and the cancer cocktails they're on, the cancer pills they're on, and they were diagnosed with this and that, and you're like, was it necessary? Was it worth it? Because, they're still here defending it, they're still alive. But I mean, are you alive or are you thriving? Did the injection add to your thriving or did it reduce your strength? It's like, people are so far away from intuition and so highly programmed from the advertising industry and the propaganda, just from like the networks. It's unbelievable. We live in like a mind control, time control society where this app proves that people are their own worst enemy over and over and over again, every day in every way. Every room they set up is like an attempt to cover up their lack of awareness. Hello?
Were you on the app when conservative atheists, I call him Neocon, when he was active on this app?
I think so, yeah.
You say yes or no?
Yeah, I think I follow him across all his Instagram accounts or whatever. His one Instagram. Anyways, he's gone now, right? I assume he chemoed out.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So let me tell you the story of this. Okay, so he was on Periscope years ago. So we were on Periscope still in 2020 when all this stuff was starting up. And he was a true believer in that he was going to get the vaccine. And I remember debating him. I was like, bro, I said, I don't trust, so on and so forth. He wrote me off as a skeptic, as a conspiracy theorist, so on and so forth. Then when they shut Periscope down, people started coming over to Clubhouse. Everyone kind of dispersed to a few different apps. And Neocon was over here. And it wasn't too much longer. The shots started rolling out, and we all lived that here on this app when they were advancing the shots. People were getting paid, and that's something to talk about. Can you imagine being Dr. Jordan carrying the water for free when other motherfuckers were getting paid to spread that fucking misinformation? But we don't really know if Dr. Jordan was paid or not. spread that information. And I have called them out on that before, but it's kind of a touchy subject. But anyhow, with Neocon, it came out he got diagnosed with cancer, and this probably would have been late 21 or whatever. And just in a small room like this, I wasn't trying to be a dick or anything, but I was a dick, you know. And I was like, man, what you think? You think that shot you took brought that along? Oh fuck! And that guy, he doesn't lose his cool too often. He's usually one of the biggest trolls on these social media apps. But bro, you ought to thought I had said the worst thing I could have said to this man. And yeah, he ended up, at least we've done some research and tried to find out, and he's now passed away from our understanding. From our understanding of it, he passed away from the cancer.
Well, here's your answer to that, John.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, as they like to say in the Clubhouse way, like we're all creating records, some of us creating more than others. And we're all going to go through that same door. There's no escaping that. We all go through the same universal door. And it's really, what have you left behind? Did you just come here and loud mic and scream at other people and create a toxic bang room and waste all your time? Hello?
I've always had the same goal on all my social media, for my politics, social media. It's all about if I can exchange ideas with people. I think, we have a great opportunity with how fast communication is. You can ask someone, well, what's it like in, your part of the world? What are you experiencing, especially during medical tyranny? That was very helpful to get a read on what was happening. But, what a waste of time to come here and get all worked up and scream and holler at the top of your lungs at people that are inconsequential to your life. Like, I turn this app off. I don't even think of anybody. Yep. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but it's like this Clubhouse is meaningless to me. And when I'm here, I try to be respectful and stuff to folks, but generally speaking, it's not like
You fuckers from the hole in the wall. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, we're not producing anything. We're not doing anything. It is, as John said earlier in the night, it's entertainment. It's I'm a news hound. I like to follow the news, and this gives me a place. It saves my family and friends from me going on and on about what's happening in the world. And I've always been that way, so this is an outlet for me to get a little pulse on what's being talked about and how people
I like
are
bouncing my
reacting.
shit off of random people. Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah, how people are reacting to whatever the news stories are. But I ain't never faced the amount of pushback from people that
turns
claim
out
to be
even the
Republicans till I came on this app. On the other apps I've been on, shit, man, I'd get pushback on certain subjects. But damn, let me tell you what, if I say a word that contradicts anything that Brad or Marshall say, they have come down on the wrong side of every issue over these last 5 years, and I don't think they know that. I mentally keep track of this shit. It's like I remember who took what positions. I remember when Douglas was for firing all the doctors and nurses that wouldn't take the jab. And I called him out on that shit, and that's the last time we've talked about it, is because he changed his story months later that when it was not popular to fire, that people should be fired for not taking the jab. But we lived that moment here on this app with these people, and I don't forget that shit.
See, the thing
Did
is,
you ever stumble into the Dr. Copeland
the,
shit?
the thing about the Zav is, the takeaway from the Zav is that even the Zav is political. Just in the same way that abortion is political. And, again, we're all going through the same door. Some people who've been fooled and regret it, because most people who have regrets about it, like, it's gotta weigh kind of heavy on your conscience, like, oh, I never should have done that. I wonder if they even have like anger against their doctor that, or their nurse that did it. I mean, my mom went to the community center and the fire department put it in her. The fire department. So the way that Big Pharma was able to roll it out to every community, that's because there's a Pfizer exec or Pfizer account manager or executive in every major city. Because every major city has their Department of Health, and they all bought, the Zabs, and the government bought 30 billion of the Zabs. And then they had to destroy them because they couldn't even use them all. So, but the PPP loan is $1 trillion fraud. Then after that, it's the CARES Act and the HEROES Act. It's if we're spending $2 trillion a year that we don't collect, if it was a 4-year pandemic, that's $8 trillion plus that we didn't have that we spent. And if you look, if we're only bringing in $5 trillion a year in revenue, and we got a $55 trillion GDP, they've just squandered countless generations of labor. And as like an American, you're like, oh shit, like we wiped out like all this opportunity cost and potential from maybe like 100 generations of Americans. It's like we've rewritten, but the thing is, it's all relative to China, to Japan, to England. So you can go to that U.S. debt clock, and you can see that it's not just America that has all the debt. It's the whole world is all running on debt. Brazil, fucking Canada, everybody, like every fucking country, because of this fiat system, runs a huge debt bubble, and it basically keeps the hamster wheel running. You can't stop, because you've got to support the teachers' unions. When Mamdani couldn't collect the property tax, he couldn't raise the property taxes. He had to stop it because there's just no money. The people don't have the money. He can put it out there, but it's like the revolt and the fact that people may not even be able to pay it is there. So you can only kind of get what's already out there to, otherwise it's all political, as we're seeing. So. But the funny thing about Marshall Rankin and Viking Brad, like, it's their video game. Who am I to judge how they play their fucking cell phone? Like, I don't think their lives are some kind of like, Vegas pool spa retreat with a. It's like, I know their lives aren't amazing. They're on Clubhouse. They're not tied up spending $500,000 a day to be at the Port Yacht Club in Monaco. Like, Marshall is just like, oh, I just spend the whole day knocking on doors, and then I gotta drive my buddy to the airport and go pick up a donkey to bring to my fucking ranch. And it's like, and then he hits a rip of weed, and then he gets loud mic, and it sounds kind of like he's got a gay southern accent. Like, who am I to judge how people play with their cell phones? Because I play with my cell phones in weird way, too. Hello?
Oh my gosh, man. It's hilarious. Marshall clearly thinks that knocking on doors. Stephen Bader was the same way. You haven't participated in politics till you've knocked on doors. Doors win wars. It's like, oh, no, system than just electioneering, right? That's just a part of our system. There's 3 branches of government. Some of us are involved with other aspects than just knocking on fucking doors, Hate that line of bullshit. And when they use it to try and diminish people's points and elevate theirs. Like somehow there's some sort of authoritarian in politics because they knocked on fucking doors.
Well, the thing is, it's like, this is the thing about Boy Who Cried Wolf, is that every time the boy that cries wolf, it just works every time. So, like, if Marshall Rankin is willing to come on here and loud mic every night of the week, well, in his mind's eye, and in his, consciousness, like, he thinks he's like, I don't know, who knows? The thing always goes back to my little brother. My little brother's in the know. He's my spy on Capitol Hill. The thing about Marshall is, it's like, he sounds and he knows just enough to make you, if you were new to the conversation, to have some faith in him, to have some confidence in his subject matter expertise and his vocabulary. But when it comes to like leadership and all the down moments with Marshall, like that's what I say. It's like you can't hate the guy because like from my perspective, like I'm filming him and like actually him and Adams and Brad, like I don't really want to listen to it because like I don't want a migraine, you know, and I'd rather listen to something intelligent. But from like the recorder's perspective, they're actually very dramatic. And Brad is like these are like guys on a stage in high school reading from a script. And it's really the same thing because it's not like they're part of any kind of business. So it's really just like theater actors here pushing back all the time in like a John McCain kind of way. That's it. You know, or a Lindsey Graham kind of way. I mean, I don't know, you know, what they got going on in their life. People say they're bored, you know, and this is how they, you know, are and only. This is the app for them to do their thing, and it works for them. So I salute the weirdness, you know, and that's the last thing people say on this app is that's weird. Hello?
You got me over here laughing, John. I think you're the most misunderstood person on Clubhouse. I think you're hilarious. And if people listened, if they would listen to talking and they'd actually step back and listen, they would listen to the tidbits of wisdom that you share about everybody and would you're not as crazy as they try to make you out to be, I can tell.
Well, the news does that. This app does that, you know, to Donald Trump every single day. There's always some new mental health crisis about Donald Trump. Then he goes to the Rose Garden and gives an incredible speech about Gold Star moms. And you're like, what is all this fake news all the time? Donald Trump is a schizophrenic, bipolar, manic, depressive, this and that. He's up to, you know, it's always fake news. And the man is a hard worker. He's got great work ethic. So, but you know, people do the same thing to me on this app and other places, and that's fine. That's actually the game. If you get into politics, you will realize all incoming communication is negative communication. Like, and there's like a reason why it keeps pushing you. You're like, okay, well, I'll just keep going, you know, and keep pushing back. And my sweet revenge is recording people on this app that I think are just like, you know, depressed, lonely people who can't find anything better to do with their time. So they've created this online persona and character to LARP and roleplay as if it's a fucking video game or some kind of 1990s online MMPROG, you know, LARPing type of society or something. And these are older men in their 40s. You know, I'm 43 and Marshall and Viking and many other people, like, they used to use the internet when it was just text or something, you know, and they were involved in these fantasy societies. Or they go out in the forest and they cast spells. Like, these are the kinds of guys we're talking about. Theater actors from high school, you know, that did Les Miserables, or they did Fiddler on the Roof or Annie, you know. That's Brad. That's Marshall. These guys would have loved it. And if they were getting paid, well, swell. God darn it. They sold out all the tickets at the county fair and at the amphitheater downtown. You know, one night only a year. Hello.
Gave me a good chuckle. Let's see what Glove's got to say. I'm gonna have to call it a night here soon.
Hey guys. What's up with the room title?
It was a little bit earlier. We had a guy that was a little worried that the IRGC was after him.
Me? This is not after me. They cannot. I told you at the end. They can kiss my ass, but they wish to. They wish to kill, but they cannot.
It's just being being sarcastic, Peter. I wasn't really.
Oh, sorry. I am really sorry. I did not mean to be sarcastic.
No, I was being sarcastic. I was trying to get a
Everything good. In German words, alles gut. It means everything good. Alles means everything good, good. Everything good.
So I think, I think they're more so after the high profile. They should be worried. I mean, the ones with a lot of followers and big platforms but if they get the time, if they get a lot of time, we're fucked.
Even if they find the time, we are here to survive. They need to take the challenge,
What are the powers of the Angel of Death? The Angel of Death is a legendary being with a skeletal face and wings covered in eyes. Unlike other supernatural entities, it serves no particular faction. Many Angels of Death exist, but one resides in the ruins of Bethmora, once the Dark Elves' capital. It waits in the King's Hall, moving chess pieces on a circular track, ensuring each follows its predetermined fate. When a piece strays, the angel nudges it back on course. In Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Hellboy is mortally wounded in battle against Prince Nuada, who leaves a spearhead lodged in his chest to prevent him from bleeding out. Unable to remove it safely, the BPRD seeks help from the Angel of Death. The angel, having long awaited Hellboy's arrival, reveals his destiny. He is fated to summon the Ogdru Jahad, the seven beasts of the apocalypse, bringing about the world's end. Remaining neutral, the angel leaves the choice to Liz Sherman. Save Hellboy and risk Armageddon, or let him die and send his soul back to hell. Liz chooses love. Instantly, the angel extracts the spearhead and vanishes before she can even express her gratitude. What are the powers of the Angel of Death?
Big challenge for you and yourselves.
Nancy Pelosi going down.
I'm calculating. Yeah.
I asked Marshall Rankin, I was like, if Trump offered you a policy position, would you take it? Like, he can't respond. I thought it was kind of funny,
No.
So, anyways, I mean, I don't understand. I know people want to play the contrarian, but the thing is, it's like, the personality is always very aggressive and obnoxious. Like, if you listen to Marshall in Gary Baumgarten's room, when people are talking, he rudely interrupts them, and like, he thinks he's part of the show, So like, as the moderator, it's up to him to interject, but the thing is, that kind of communication is a little abusive. And when he just talks over people and keeps talking as other people are talking, like, I get it, get that dopamine. But I mean, oof, strength really is joy. And if he was the Republican leader in my area, well, I would have to resist and fight back against that leadership. Hello?
The oath that you said, I came from a big pain. I understand you. But may I ask if you meant me by jumping into other words? Because when I was not a moderator, even when I was not a moderator, I am a famous. I have a famous account in our diaspora. They say that he cannot control his mic. They would. Sometimes they tolerate me. Sometimes they remove me. Sometimes they send me to the audience and bring me back up later. Sometimes they send me to the audience and they don't bring me back on the stage. But that's me. That's me. That is not because of being moderator.
Well, in every single city and town in this country, there is a network of Republicans that have been playing the Republican game for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And it's the network. It is a social network. And, everybody has their position in place. But there's just a lot of, kind of repetitive patterning that's happening. and it's not really real resistance. A lot of people just call soft republicanism Democrat controlled opposition, meaning that they are part of a one network and they mislead and prevent other people from trying to enter into that one network to disrupt it. And it is what it is. I mean, I don't know why people do it on this app, and they do it with such fervor and so much commitment and so much time. I think it's just because they don't have time to do, they're not doing anything else. So you end up hearing a lot of Marshall Rankin. Hello? Stinking Rankin.
You are wrong, John. I am not just doing this. I am rolling a joint, then going to start my day in the city. And at the same time, I won't get offline. I would stay here and continue gossiping. That is irrelevant to the things. For example, I would not open my mic for 2 hours. Do you think that I am just listening to you dedicated? Me? Bullshit.
Well, I don't know, but I hear that the IRGC has sleeper cells that are still out there yet to be activated. And, every good counterintelligence operation, they're out there throughout Europe. So just be careful, Peter, because it's possible that that guy that Iranian guy in your town who you thought was, part of the resistance like yourself, it turns out he's just observing you on behalf of the regime. And, I don't think that he would want to attack you.
I saw your story. So we had this guy, he came to the protest and everything. And then he's in Iran. And totally changed his point of view. So he was probably just faking it.
A mole. We call them moles.
Yeah, a mole. Yeah.
Peter, Peter, let me ask you.
I know how to handle moles.
Let me ask you, Peter. Are you using a VPN on this app?
No, I don't use VPN, but I am using iPhone and I update it time by time, and I am using Wi-Fi that is in a place that is absolutely secure. For example, it is a university dormitory that a lot of students work on expensive patents, and it is absolutely secure, and it is very necessary. The security is very necessary. We would love them to challenge this. Let them challenge.
این چیزی که گفتی الان یعنی چی؟ What does that mean?
It means that it is secure enough that mullahs, beaches, even with the high-end facilities that they have, they cannot do shit to me, digitally or physically, in the digital space or in the physical space. Even though they have tried and they will try, they won't stop. This is clear. They won't stop until they are there. That's the reason that we need to kick them out, because we need peace, because people like me came from Tehran to Berlin to stay safe and be able to speak. Okay? And Berlin is safe enough for me. I feel safe here. If I am vigilant enough. If I am not dumbass to hand over my information that is sensitive really. If you don't hand over your information, sensitive information willingly, and you are vigilant like you were in Tehran, as vigilant as Tehran, nothing happens to you.
It's long past time to stick a new latrine pit. First Building Yarmouth and I have decided to appoint a latrine captain to oversee this crucial task. Right. Seems like a good job for a ginger.
download
You have
one
more
for free.
experience than any other ranger at Castle Black.
I use
You proved your valor many times over.
Oh yes, I have
Defended the
proof.
vault for a while in
Exactly. I
attack.
sometimes activate that when I
And
go
then
to
you first ranger.
open the browser. We don't call my mom Instagram because I did not download the application of my mom to be able to call my family.
Restore it as best you can.
But
First on the
sometimes I
yard,
open the
but
browser and find them via
defense of
browser.
King's Landing
In
when
that
you're still in
time,
your swaddling
I
clothes.
use the VPN. But for now, it's no virus. I fix it, it gets set until the mobile terrain, and the mobile gets vulnerable. So it is not necessary at this stage. You need to just beat them, but we beat them.
Freeze and die. Give it to one of the fools who cast the stone for you. I will not have it. Did you hear me, boy? I will not have it. You refuse.
Yes, and a lot of glitches. For example, when you call them, they need to open their application space to be able to see the card. The card does not go automatically to the screen. And for example, sometimes the voice comes, the sound doesn't go. Or the vice versa. The opposite side. The video goes, the sound doesn't. The sound goes, the video does. And it was like that. It was one, for example, like the cars that Monopoly uses. This piece of shit. You know, they just bought, for example, engine from China. Change through. Another comes wheels from somewhere else. For example, the mattress from Pakistan. They assembled it. They assembled out bullshit. They say this is our national car.
Taxes be collected from dead cattle and blighted harvest.
And
Fear is all Egypt.
I had one of
Why?
those
We fear no
loading
army of
cars.
the earth, but can we
It was a
fight
piece
slaves
of
with a
shit,
sword?
but it's still engine. Since the engine comes from the time of the last king. It is an
Cannot resist the
England,
power of his God.
English
not his God. Neither will I let his people go.
British
If
engine.
you bring another
Use
plague
one,
upon us,
take on one. It is for
it is not your God,
6
but
years
I
ago,
who turn
but
the
the
dial
engine
red
is
with
still
blood.
strong.
There is
The body is the same. The aerodynamic and thing is not changed. The production has been stopped.
So great a
And
cry
it's
throughout the land.
mess.
You will
I was
surely let
going to die.
Come to me
Not
no more.
by a terrorist,
On
but
the day you
because
see
of
my
terrorism.
face again, you
By
will surely
the car.
Don't let it be
The car was going another side. I was trying to drive it another
Taxes be
side.
collected.
It's not going somewhere else.
sinned a great sin in the sight of God.
Did you know the last Byzantine emperor died as...
I mean, I don't know.
Wish I could stay up later, Peter, but I'm fine.
Do I need to close the room?
Don't leave serendipity up here.
Peter, you have to learn. Do you know what an Irish goodbye is, Peter?
I set Ann down in the audience just so she wouldn't be. Because what will happen is we'll leave, and then they'll be stuck sleeping on the stage. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So if you're the last mob, don't leave serendipity up here asleep.
Hey, hold it. Check over the word.
Trump is the new Messiah. Trump is the new Messiah. Trump is the new Messiah. Messiah, now we don't have to wait.
Biggest mistake, biggest mistake.
mathematics falls. Like, you know.
There's no way for you to make that claim. You can't justify that claim.
Because I am taking mathematics as true in every possible word.
That's based on the presupposition. We're just making math God.
I have an argument for it, like so.
He's been holding the map for like 4 years now.
So take a
Now you're gonna get distracted on this thing now, right?
Carlos is keeping reins on my.
I'm just saying, you're saying math is absolute truth.
Conversation has just been meandering. Just like,
Mikhal, after 3 years, one second. Mikhal, after 3 years, we grant necessary. Oh, one second. It took 3 years for Nilotpom to grant necessary existence, and then he called it math.
No,
For the past good 2 or 3 years, he's been holding to math as his God.
No, I said that math can.
No, you have to see whole
It is not ontologically dependent.
I mean, people worship intelligibility. I mean,
so mathematics is ontologically independent. That's what it means. But that doesn't mean that we are dependent on mathematics. I didn't say that.
no, seriously, I think the three daughters of God is like geometry, math, and human language. They're the three sons. I think it has to do with intelligibility. But that's still under investigation. Yeah, you still have to ground intelligibility in a source, a terminus. Otherwise, it would be incoherent. How are you going to establish the law of identity? That's the centering argument, or the.
Do you have a new argument, Mikhal?
That's my definition of Tawheed. So when someone asks me what is Tawheed, I say Allah is the source and terminus of intelligibility.
Do you have a new answer?
The argument of constraint. Instead of arguing for absolute truth, we would argue for nature. So we are of human nature. We are under constraint of human nature, and there is no way to, transcend that. So for us, we should just accept that we're humans and recognize our pattern and try to just be content in fulfilling that. And that's what God, because there is no escape from that. So if you want to be content or you want to blaspheme in that, you're still going to fulfill the human nature. So this sounds a lot like, determinism. It is. But again, there's Buddhism. There's always going to be, enemies. There's always going to be two sides, and there's always going to be that dynamicism, that build up, that, coherency, build up, decoherency, and all of that. That's always going to be the case. That breath of life is inescapable. That is life. So if you can escape the structuring of this reality, go ahead and try, but you're going to need extreme authority. So you're going to need a lot of algorithms, a lot of systems to try and delay the inevitable. You're only going to delay it. You're never going to escape it. So just submit. That's literally what Islam is all about. Just submit. But Muhammad comes with good news. He's like, if you submit, you get paradise. And actually, he describes a literal paradise. Like, it gives you extravagant details, which Jesus doesn't really do, nor does the Old Testament. So, it really gives us a reason.
Okay, what's the argument?
That was it. Pretty much, if I had to, that was a quick. You want it, formal?
No, I mean,
Just recognize you're a human. Nature, this is just this is from a natural, this is for a naturalist, so it would be, you don't want to hold to absolute truth, that's fine, but you recognize nature, you recognize recognize.
That's why they're determinate.
But that's why the Quran, like, when it's this, the whole, if you try to get to the beginning of the affair, it's always about, like, the heavens and the earth. You know, God calls out to the heaven and the earth. And so it's like, you know, and so the heavens, they recognize it. And it's like, whether you willingly or unwillingly, God says. And so they just willingly, so they recognize that, you know, they are the heaven and the earth. So it's just like, oh, you know, that I even recognize that means exactly what it entails. So I'm just going to submit.
You know, when Chan was a baby in Clubhouse, he used to say that this heaven and earth asunder, that this thing, the word is actually talking about the Big Bang. He was still a baby.
Yeah.
Just
He's
nice
still a
and
baby
so
like
cute
that.
and funny.
Someone who goes to like technology has never grown like there's some stuff that grow up.
Well, it's proper to think of the universe as the singularity
But let me think of the verse.
expansion.
What do you think of the verse? What do you think of the verse?
Which verse? The expansion?
The heavens and the heavens and the earth, an integrated mass until we.
Yeah, I know that. Obviously, there's layering in the Quran, but this would, my highest understanding would be dynamic and static. So, there's a reality that was, you know, a proto, or whatever, static and dynamic. So, a neutral state of static and dynamic, which is extremely, I don't know how to even consider that other than maybe like a black hole, a singularity, in that sense. So, in that sense, and then there was a static and a dynamic, and the static was made the Earth in 2 days, and then the constants and the equations, fate, destiny in 2 days, and the heaven was made 7 heavens in 2 days. So 6 intervals of time. And then there's the 8 angels that carry the throne. So that's 9. I've been tracking it. It's actually pretty. And then there's the world of command and then the world of creation. So the Quran gives you a full metaphysics that can translate in the very exact structuring to theories, predominant theories today.
So one of the oldest models for the flat earth was the firmament, the ceiling, the water will throw, etc. If you look at it,
What is the most profound idea that you get from the Quran?
Quran?
You personally.
Me personally, the verse from light, from God's light is like a niche in the, like a.
Oh, I would have expected you to say Tawheed.
Yeah, that is the explanation also for Tawheed.
Or the concept.
That is the very concept for Tawheed.
She's more of an artist. She's artistic. She doesn't care about
No, I mean, of course,
analytics.
ikhlas, but that would be the most. That is the very argument Illuminists use. It's the argument because I really like Mullah Sadra very much. His entire philosophy is based on that verse. It is the explanation for Tawheed. Just look how he explains it. It's really good. Because he uses like formal arguments for it, including the oil that is luminescent in and of itself, right? That he says is the very nature of
that can be proven, like the olive oil. I forgot a specific region, and it glows in the dark.
the tree, the broad.
Under like
I don't read it literally. I mean, he's built an entire philosophy of it.
ultraviolet or something.
Which one?
Again, the Quran is layered. Just one layering doesn't deny the other, as long as they're all within a framework. So whatever the framework is, they're all consistent. The logos is maintained.
Rationalists use that argument for the explanation of a God, like just a theistic God, not even like the God of the Quran.
I already gave, like, I have a diagram that includes, like, the pen, the throne. This is the understanding that, and again, like, I'm trying to match a lot of these dynamics to, and remarkably, it does match, so it's just like, you can refresh and look at it, but yeah, this is my, like, it's, this is what the throne is, this is what the pen is, like, doesn't deny the, you know, whatever concrete visual that could be, that is plausible, or probable. But just the numbers, like if you just keep in mind that structure of how God describes the heaven and earth, the creation, the sequencing that's taking place. Like, it's just someone, you know, whoever the author of this text is, they had a very fundamental, I mean, that's why this book's a miracle. Like, that's its challenge. This is why he's a prophet. He has this foresight. It's just crazy how far it's keeping up. I mean, think about it. This could have been falsified. Like Einstein, if that was the completion of physics, like that would have been it for the Quran. That would have been falsified. If information was lost or destroyed, that would have been it. But this text is like making those statements clear, axiomatic statements. In times where the natural science really pushed in the opposite direction.
Your paychecks let me go.